Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rise Up Market Watch. Tonight, January 5th, there are no jingles. My audio sounds a little different, most likely as well, because my $4,000 desktop computer consumed too much Christmas tree dust, and I now need to wait for the air compressor to show up, open it up, spray all of the Christmas tree dust out of it so it'll work again. Something I never had a problem with my $1,200, $1,400 computer before. So
wait, that's a real story? That's true?
That is exactly what is happening to my computer.
Sorry, it's horrible.
That is exactly what is happening to my computer. Oh, CC, I love your content. CC, I love you. Bearded, hello, hello. So everybody, I apologize for the poor audio tonight. I apologize for no jingles. And for the folks on TikTok Live, I apologize that you cannot see Doug. You'll be able to hear him a little bit through the laptop here, but I'll show the screen a little bit. Already getting some questions here. Cheap Tuesday, likely retest of 92K for Bitcoin. We were just talking backstage, Doug and I, about how Bitcoin could very likely just keep going on this rip, but we do think it makes more sense for there to be an initial little bit of a correction in like almost all coins. But a lot of coins are looking really, really, really good right now. And also the Rippler says, everyone keeps saying Bitcoin will hit 100K soon, and then it's down to 70. Why? People are in the short term, we've been talking about on the daily Bitcoin updates that there's a target for Bitcoin, like $97,000 or so. And also Binance makes the most amount of money if Bitcoin hits about $98,000. We'll pull up that chart in a second. So that's why people are saying roughly 100K. It's also a very keen psychological number that people like to target and pick. And if you're looking for a catalyst as to why Bitcoin might sell off in the middle of January, we have the Morgan Stanley vote to kick Strategy out of its index, which will cue a lot of bearish content about how Strategy will end up selling Bitcoin, and that happens on the 15th.
Oh, I had the 14th. This is wrong? This is my little memo to myself. This is wrong.
It is the 15th, but I think you wrote it on the 14th just to be like, hey, pay attention.
Oh.
Yeah. We also have a bunch of things to look at today because we will get to Bitcoin, we will get to crypto, because a lot of altcoins are looking good and a lot of things are popping off nicely. Doug and I, thanks to Doug, I do have my eyes on PopCat for a potential trade.
Oh, did you?
Nice. Yeah. You put that on my radar screen and I was like, damn, yeah, this is looking good. I took a look at Pengu, I took a look at Render, took a lot of the coins that are really popping off just to see what kinds of setups I liked. And I do like the technical setup on PopCat if we can get a little bit of a pullback. But also, I want to start off the show by doing a little bit more of a macro look because we got to see the market's reaction to what happened in Venezuela. And even though I made a video personally myself on my TikTok and the company's Instagram page and Twitter page, the day wasn't done yet. So I haven't had an opportunity to look to see where oil finished, where U.S. mining companies finished, where defense companies finished, and all that kind of stuff. And also, I want to take a look at gold and silver and copper and some of the metals. So we'll do that first, then we'll take a look at crypto as well. But Doug, is there anything that you want to take a look at on top of all that?
No, you covered all of the key ones. It's almost like I haven't looked at charts long enough, although it's been like 5 years, to see like, you start recognizing the patterns across different asset classes, but now it's like, hey, that's not supposed to be happening. That one's different. So it's an interesting time to see how these are reacting. But it's good to have the perspective, let's say the least.
Yeah. And we're getting some comments here. Hey, from Europe, hello to you. Thanks for always being data-driven and funny. I will always try my best to be those things. Hello to Bearded, hello to Magic, hello to everybody in the comments section. Without further ado, let's get into some charts. Now, let me share my screen on the big screen. For the folks over here on TikTok, and we're running a little bit of an odd show tonight because of technical problems, but I will show you the screen in just a moment. So let me come here. I actually had PopCat on the screen. So let's take a look at oil. Let's take a look at crude oil futures and just kind of see how things finished. And let's
jumping right into PopCat. I was like, damn, oils makes more sense.
Let's get right into PopCat. Now, because I'm on my laptop, this screen isn't exactly the best. So let me just clear up a few things. Let me clean this up, clean it up, make it look just a little bit better. Oh, wait a second. What did I do here? Oh, my goodness.
It's the worst.
We're just going to erase a few things. So, Oil on the day, very interesting. So oil on the day here, the daily candle, we had a initial major sell-off, which made somewhat of sense because with the United States taking control of Venezuela, we should expect the United States to flood the markets with oil in their efforts to put pressure on Russia. So price initially came down. However, price spiked upwards, most likely due to, just like uncertainty. Like, we think that the supply of oil is going to increase dramatically globally because the United States has access to Venezuela's global oil reserves. But in the short term, what's going to happen, right? Is that supply going to be reduced? What's going to happen? There's some uncertainty there, and the price of oil ended up going upwards. And on the day, we ended up for oil up about 3.5%. And what's also interesting to note is taking a look at our indicators here. We're starting to get a long signal. So we're starting to get close to a long signal on oil. So this is telling us that the price of oil, if this crosses, we might be in a position for oil to really actually start to see some sizable increases upwards until, we start to see that Venezuelan oil really start to hit the market. If, of course, that happens, because I think the situation in Venezuela is still very much so kind of adapting and coming to be. Let's see. Oh, what was the name of the refinery? MRA? No. Oh gosh, what was it? Doug, what's the name of a major U.S. oil company?
Oh,
I can't remember.
Chevron?
Exxon?
Chevron.
Oh, yeah, Chevron.
I got a notification on Chevron earlier today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Chevron also Jax, thank you so much for the notification. So the daily chart, look at this. This is crazy. So on the day, from one day to the next, Chevron ended up 5% on the day. That's pretty wild. And also, this is a silly looking chart. We're getting a long signal here as well, flashing for Chevron with this inverted hammer candle. I don't even know how to read this.
If you flip to the monthly real quick, if you zoom out even further, because there's a very, very key level. So 165, like you flip, it's just been resistance for the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You flip that, I would expect all-time highs to tap. At least
if you flip
top
168, I would say for
there
Chevron,
you go.
You will absolutely see all-time highs for Chevron. And also look at that on the monthly chart. We're starting to get close to getting a long signal also for Chevron.
Yep.
Crazy what happens when you take over a country with the world's largest oil reserves and huge oil fields, and then say, we're going to let all of the U.S. oil companies come in here with billions of dollars to build up the infrastructure and just start pumping oil, what that does to the stock of your company.
Yeah.
Crazy. And let's see, there's Palantir also from a defense standpoint. I'm curious how they ended the
I think they're gonna this has got to cool soon, I feel. It already is a little bit.
Yeah, it's cooling for sure. So
tech in many ways too. I think it's just there's still, even though today was, well, actually NASDAQ wasn't as strong as your Russells, but tech is still needs some compression, needs some chill.
Yeah, well, Palantir started up on the day, but still looking a little bit weak. And this overall structure looks fairly weak to me as well. You have a higher high that's barely a higher high, fell back down, fell back below previous areas of support. So Palantir's stock overall looks weak. And that's what I was seeing throughout the day, as I saw a lot of defense stocks not really doing particularly great. However, if you saw the United States get stuck in the mud in Venezuela with like boots on the ground, these stocks probably would have done great. Because the United States would have to be buying all of their equipment. Let's see. How did the stock market overall end? Stock market overall. Nope, that's not what I want to say.
It looks like it wants a leg up. I mean, even like the Russell too, but Russell and the S&P look the same. So for the most part, but that looks, I mean, we're right at, it's like this level. Like what's the highs from November, October?
From October
Right to the left there. What's that?
That is 69.16.
And where are we at right now?
We are at 68.96.
So it's like right that's and also too right mid-December too was also that same level. So it's almost like that you're yep, flip that. Another level up.
Yeah, so if we turn this into support, yeah, stock market makes an all-time high. If this resistance holds, you start to see the potential for a large break, honestly.
Yep.
And let's see. Hang on a second. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing... What am I seeing with my eyes, my old man eyes? This is like a weird ascending triangle. It's a really weird ascending triangle with big rips to the upside, downside that ended up being false. But for the most part, you see that prices consolidating here. And this is typically a top signal, typically. But if we turn this into support, then you can see, you know, the stock market continue to blast higher. So that's interesting. So we'll need to see how that goes. And you said the Russell 2000 looked about the same?
It looked the same. It looks a little stronger. At least for today. I'm looking at the hourly.
It does look exactly the same. I won't show it to folks over here on TikTok, but yeah, although hang on a second. Let me get a few questions here. I don't know why it's up because one, there's lots of oil supply right now, and two, extracting Venezuelan oil is expensive. Oh, so Georgios, here's the thing. We're talking about Chevron. Extracting Venezuelan oil is expensive. However, the United States and Venezuela used to be super close allies. In fact, like it wasn't even all that long ago. It was like the 80s and 90s, and then things started to fall apart really around the early 2000s and such. But it was the United States put up a ton of refineries because the United States oil companies built up the infrastructure of oil infrastructure within Venezuela out the get-go. That's the whole reason why Venezuela had any oil infrastructure in the first place, was because the U.S. oil companies were there. Skis says, we're so back. It'll never go down ever again. It'll never go down ever again. Nice to have you here, dude. But, and so Venezuelan oil is expensive to refine, but Texas and Louisiana have a crap ton of refineries that were specifically built to take Venezuelan crappy oil and turn it into, you know, usable products. So yes, even with that, it is still more expensive, but the profit margins are lower. But also remember, this is being done. This strike in Venezuela is being done not just to make money. That's a nice side product, but it is to hurt Russia. Don't really care about profit margins right now in the game of empire, so long as it puts the screws and tightens them on Russia to try to get them to agree to a peace deal in Ukraine. And also embarrass them. Because that's America's job.
Yeah.
Embarrass Putin. And honestly, I'm kind of here for it. And yeah, so the Russell 2000 looks the same. I'm getting a ton of short indicators here on the Russell 2000 as well. That doesn't necessarily spell a good signs for crypto. On the weekly time frame, though, it actually looks a little bit better on top of some general support. Anyway, interesting. Oh, I did get a comment here from Bearded. Look at Alphabet. Take a look at Google. So let me, you know what? I will take a look at Google because I don't think I have looked at Google stock. Oh man, in a few years. Oh, good God.
Yeah, we've been on the wrong asset class for years.
Oh, good God. Yeah, God. Why did any of us invest in crypto? This is Google on the weekly time frame. Actually, I'm curious. Google since March of last year is up. God, I hate my laptop someday. It's up 123%. God, we've been in the wrong asset class. Oh my God. Y'all should have bought stocks. God damn it. Hang on a second. Let's take a look at the daily time frame for Google. Taking a look at here. Ooh, wow. Yeah, the party's almost over. I mean, this is just screaming. We're about to see a short signal. At the same time, really don't like this consolidation candle right here, this spinning top. This seems like there's a lot of weakness right now. Where's my stochastic RSI? Oh, gosh darn it. I got rid of it. Gosh darn it. Stochastic RSI. A little bit toppy, a little bit there, and hang on a second. Where did my other indicator go? Did I just get rid of my Moxie indicator as well? What is happening? Ugh, I wish I had my computer. There we go. Moxie indicator. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Google looks super, super, super top heavy. If you have Google stock, I would certainly sell and take some profits. Is Google building its own blockchain? I don't see why they wouldn't. Honestly, I don't see why they wouldn't go and build their own blockchain using some other solution. Honestly, go and use Avalanche's subnets to build your own blockchain. That's it. Brother, what do you believe for Ethereum? Would it drop back to 2,200 soon or do a pullback? I think that is a good opportunity to go and quickly take a look at Bitcoin, and then we'll take a look at Ethereum and Solana as well. We'll take a look at gold and silver and a few other precious metals in a bit. But I know everybody's chomping at the bit for crypto. So, Bitcoin. If you have not been watching my update videos, didn't want to move that. Not been watching my update videos, Bitcoin has been in this wedge here. And let me show everybody here on the tiki-taki. Bitcoin was in this wedge, right? This white wedge here. And a handful of days ago started to get above it and some key exponential moving averages. And the breakout target of this wedge is right in between what is essentially $97,000 and $94,000, right? This green box. In fact, the breakout target is the top of it. Today, Bitcoin blasted past the 55-day exponential moving average. And honestly, I would kind of like to see it just come down and chill for a tiny bit. Come down, turn and confirm this into support. That's what I'd like to see personally. However, I don't know if Bitcoin really wants to do that because momentum keeps getting more and more bullish, and we're not in overbought territory yet on the relative strength index right here. And if you go to the weekly time frame, the weekly time frame is just starting to creep out of oversold territory. So there's still some potential, like quite a bit of room to go for Bitcoin before it starts running into some resistance levels around $97,000, $98,000, which when we go to the weekly chart, you can see that our little target here is running up against the 12-week EMA, the 55-week EMA, and getting damn near close to the 21-week EMA. And if we go to the monthly chart, that box represented by this green line is right on the 12-month exponential moving average. So all of that is to say, 95K to like 97K, there's a ton of resistance. And also 98K is the level where Binance happens to stop making the most amount of money it possibly can by liquidating short positions on the CoinGlass Bitcoin liquidity heat map. We'll show that in a second. But once we hit 98K, like the reasons for Bitcoin to slow down and maybe dip back down start to really pick up and start to really strengthen. Also, at the same time, narratively wise, as we talked at the beginning of the show, January 15th, there's going to be a big FUD event, most likely. If Morgan Stanley votes to kick MicroStrategy out of their index, you're going to see a whole lot of people screaming about and spreading fear about Michael Saylor having to sell Bitcoin, which Strategy has 2 years worth of cash on hand before they would ever have to sell any Bitcoin. But reality does not matter. Emotions do. And you probably see some emotional selling. Or it either marks an absolute bottom, or it's a final irrational sell-off, right? So I just say all that to say, hey, you can watch and see what happens in the market for a little bit and then re-enter in a much safer time with a little bit more surety is what I'm saying here. But a lot of altcoins right now, if Bitcoin does go up to 98K, can do really well. A lot of altcoins have been doing really, really, really well. But before we switch to altcoins, I do want to put everybody else onto a little bit of game, which is a little bearish, which is the futures market. The futures market for Bitcoin has two problems. And it's two gaps. And actually, let me clean this up. Clean. Yeah, it's clean enough. So
You don't
on
refresh those either. The refresh there on the indicator, I don't refresh them. See the
I never
purple thing?
refresh them.
I'm gonna screw my stuff up. I'm like, nope, I'm staying with the old thing. Let it work. Still
Yep,
work.
same with the old thing. I don't need it. I don't want it.
Yep.
But on shorter term time frames, like we're looking at the 4-hour chart here, you have a gap here as far down as 90,000.5. Then you have another gap here as far down as $88,130. So gaps on shorter term time frames, and I mean anything that's below the daily chart, tend to be ignored more than if they were on the daily chart. Like Bitcoin's only ever had one gap on the daily chart that has ever not been filled. But on the shorter term time frames, there are more gaps that tend to be ignored. However, this should still tell us that if Bitcoin does go up to just straight up to $98,000, $97,000 our target, then the odds of us coming back down to, at the very least, $88,000 are pretty high. That's one of the reasons why, just a little bit ago, I said I would like to see Bitcoin come down and maybe retest like this general area of resistance and support. This area here that is sitting at pretty much exactly $90,500, turn that into support and then continue higher. That would kind of make me feel good, but because it's also so close to this gap, maybe it's kind of unrealistic that would hold as support. So I don't really know what's going to happen in the short term. A cool off would make sense, but at the same time, if we see Bitcoin go all the way up to 98K, there should be a fairly steep correction back down to maybe as far as $88,000.
I almost want to hit that first. Like I
would rather hit it first. I'd rather hit 88K first. Have that happen over the next 36 hours. And I would feel really nice about opening up a position and then seeing if that momentum takes Bitcoin to 97, 98K. The altcoin position that I'm in after taking like a 15 to 20% correction or whatever, then starts to pump upwards. And I get a nice, cool, calm, and collected like 30% swing trade. I'll set a stop loss. But like that's what I would love to see happen in the markets.
Agreed.
Yeah. Now let's take a look into some altcoins. Oh, I do see a question from Georgia.
Can I show you a chart? Actually, I'm gonna show you a chart. A new indicator that I've come across, or new chart.
Georgios believes that if Bitcoin is bullish now, if it goes up to 100K, that it will then consolidate around there and then go upwards. I would love for that to happen, Georgios. I really, really would.
That's this scenario right here, right? I'm looking at the same. So what you were just looking at. So this is very similar to earlier in the year, right? It looks like March. So whenever we get up here, as Will just covered, we may come down first, right, to go up here. But in this blue box here, this is the time to focus on and try to invalidate whatever thesis that you have, or I believe we will reject from there. And forget about this arrow, but just I believe red's going to play out. So I'm looking for reasons to believe that it won't, and it would repeat something that's over here back in May. I just have less reasons for it to go up than for it to go down once and if it hits that level. But yeah, I mean, I can't see this keep going up. I just can't. I would love to be wrong. But I think we're on the same page there, Will.
Yeah, for me, like my ideal scenario, and like I do understand an ideal scenario isn't always something that's like guaranteed to happen, but like what would make me feel the best would be the following. So let me pull up my chart again. Let me get all my gross indicators on the screen. And let me pull up the monthly chart. And also let me, what is this? Why is this doing this? Why is my laptop adding so much more stuff? I don't want this here. How do I get rid of this?
All these
little.
That's
little
in the main settings. If you go to the main settings of the chart there, the bottom right, where it says set, your little gear on the actual chart.
My gear on the
There you go, and then you go into the main menu, scroll down, more settings, and then I believe it's events down at the bottom. I think latest news. I think that's it. Or what's the other one? The continuous. What was the other button there? Contract switch. Yeah.
Oh, thank God. That's so much better. Okay. Whew. All right. Let me share my screen. because Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, for me, I'm not bullish unless it turns the 12-month exponential moving average into support, right? And we won't have confirmation on that for another 24 days. But what I would love to see happen that'd make me confident is I want to see the monthly chart stochastic RSI be in entirely oversold territory. And right now it's not. And I want to find key support on a exponential moving average like the 55, something more impactful than the 12 and 21. I would love to see this combination of events. I would love to see the monthly stochastic RSI entirely bottomed out. I'd love for us to find support on the 55-month exponential moving average. And at the same time, I would love for us to find that support, within this general box of this previous consolidation zone. That to me would scream buy with all of the stable coins that I have. And I'd buy a lot of Bitcoin, I'd buy a lot of Ethereum, I'd buy a lot of Solana, but I'd mainly buy Bitcoin in that. And then I would slowly trickle it into Solana and Ethereum. And then I am very interested in Pengu. I'm very interested in Uniswap. I'm very interested in Maple Finance. I'm very interested in Hyperliquid. And so those would be the things that I would be looking to do if I were to get that. That's my ideal scenario, which would be the price point of Bitcoin somewhere between $74,000 and $53,000. That would be my ideal scenario. I would love to buy that, and I would be thrilled. And I'd be screaming from the mountaintop for people to start buying Bitcoin. And very few people will listen, I'm sure. And that'll be that. That'll be fine.
We still got time.
That's what I really want to see. It's really that combination of very oversold on the monthly chart stochastic RSI and finding support on a key exponential moving average like the 55.
No doubt.
He wants it to go low because he missed the bottom. I take it easy. I've been buying Bitcoin since 2017, sir. I liquidated my 401k at God, what was the price? $28,000. So everything's pretty good here. And I buy Bitcoin every single day. So I buy the top, I buy the bottom, and I buy the top, and then I buy the bottom, and I buy the top, and then I buy the bottom. It happens all the time. But if Bitcoin were to fall that far, what I would do is I'd take my daily DCA into Bitcoin and also Ethereum and Solana, because I buy those every day too. I started that a little while ago, a number of months ago. And with Bitcoin, I will double my dollar cost average. And with Ethereum and Solana, I'll increase those dollar cost averages by 50%. Do I think the alt season starts now? No, I do not. But there's an opportunity for some trades, and I think Doug is sharing one with us now. What do you got?
Yeah, so this was brought up on a stream earlier, last week, I think it was, meme.c. It's a meme coin market cap, aggregated market cap. So I don't know exactly what's excluded or included or excluded here, but it's the first gauge I've seen on TradingView that gives me some perspective of, hey, meme coins added $15 billion of market cap over the last 3 days, which is a number. And if we do get to the point where we do see an alt season, which that will return, you'll see your smaller markets lead in many cases. But this is a nice chart, and as Will was just talking about too, eventually I think we get some type of pullback. If it's another maybe impulse up, this is across the board, right? This is not just looking at just this meme index, but it's just a good perspective. So using these kind of macro, this theme of these our market watch is more the macro type indicators or perspectives. This is a good one that's on TradingView that's new that I came across. And if anyone else has any others you want to call out in general, but this is the first one for meme coins because it's its own class now. I mean, it's big enough to say, hey, it does give you some guidance and something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'd love to keep an eye on that because it's hard to keep track of all the meme coins, honestly.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. No doubt.
And the meme coins have been blowing up, particularly Pengu, Popcat, and what other ones were popping?
I also like Pump. Pump is a good one now to keep an eye on. Pump is the average distance, but Pump is finally trying to break this downtrend, which has been since like October.
Oh, Pepe did phenomenal. People are letting us know.
Yep.
And when do I think altcoin season starts? If Bitcoin turns the 12-month exponential moving average into support, you're going to have some altcoins start to do really well. However, altcoin season, I feel like, is a really crappy term that we should stop using.
Yes.
Until there is literally an ETF for every single altcoin, you're never going to have an altcoin season like we used to have in the past. You'll have select winners, and it's really important to find those winners. Also, another thing too is like with the altcoins moving forward, personally, I think you have two narratives for coins that do well. Coins that have ETFs attached to them and coins that have really good revenue. Coins that have really good adoption and then have a revenue burn attached to it. I'm really excited about Uniswap with their recent vote to do a revenue burn. I'm excited about Hyperliquid. I'm excited about Aster. I'm excited about Sky Protocol, which is also been doing very well since November. It was up like 70%, which is pretty crazy. I'm very excited in these very large revenue generating cryptocurrencies that have a revenue and burn. And those two things, ETFs, revenue and burn, a lot of adoption. I don't care about the newest platform crypto, like Canton Network, couldn't care less about it. We don't need more.
Yeah, Canto, nothing Canto. Canto was normal, right?
No.
Oh, I died Canto.
Like honestly, with Canton, I couldn't care less. We don't need more platform cryptocurrencies. Ethereum has a ton of usage. Solana has a ton of usage, and then there's a steep gap. But like Avalanche has a lot of usage, and like a lot of these platform cryptos work and are great, but there's only so much money, attention, and developers that can be directed towards these ecosystems. I like Syrup a lot. Syrup also has a ton of revenue, and every single quarter they do a buyback and burn. I like Aerodrome as well because even though they have a high inflation of supply, they are also taking supply off of the market. I like Ethereum with the Fusaka upgrade, allowing layer 2s to start burning more Ethereum as well. Made me far more interested in Ethereum than I was before, and I was already very interested in it. So you don't think Cardano will get to like $2? I don't even know what Cardano's at today. Is it at like 10 cents? I don't know what it's at today right now. But these are great questions. We'll get back into it. One more one from Solom about Aave. I like Aave. I don't love Aave. I love Aave as a solution, but the issue with Aave as a token is that it is purely a governance token. There's nothing to do with it other than voting. And that's cool, great, and grand. Like having influence over the largest DeFi protocol in all of crypto is valuable. And Doug is showing on the big screen that like Aave's token did show quite a bit of volatility. There was opportunities to make quite a bit of money off of Aave. What I find interesting is that with the upcoming upgrade from Aave, they are clearly positioning themselves for institutional grade level adoption, and particularly dipping into the tokenization of real world assets place. And that opens up an interesting possibility for them because while Aave already makes a lot of money, it's volatile, the amount of revenue that they make. Institutions bring about a much more predictable cash flow over a long term. And that opens up the door a little bit more, in my personal opinion, for Aave to introduce maybe some changes to their tokenomics, like Uniswap did, but opening up some changes saying, hey, our revenue right now is more predictable. So we can now maybe change our tokenomics to have a buyback and burn that's attached to the revenue that they generate. So I like Aave. I don't love Aave. I see the possibility of Aave's tokenomics changing at some point to be something a little bit more akin to like a Hyperliquid or like a Uniswap, or like a Maple, like a Aerodrome, like a few other things. So that's my explanation on that. What do I think of WorldCoin? I hate WorldCoin with a burning passion. I despise it. I hate it from a philosophical standpoint. It hurts my heart so much that it exists.
Boring.
Anyway, Doug, do you have a couple charts that you want to show, and then we'll get back to some of these questions?
I've been peeking at some of these memes, because again, memes.
Oh my God,
Toshi. Love or hate them. This is Toshi, like super strong.
Toshi.
Like wow, like even Bonks, lots of strength. These are all looking really good. Even oh my gosh, Shiba. But I have to keep zooming out though. Take it like a grain of salt, right? So it looked really
take
nice.
it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it looked really nice. But so if I look at this is Shiba. Going back over here to the left, back in this 2023, 2024, before we got this really big move here, right? There were a bunch of really nice green candles, and it's hard to see. Over here, like some strong, this is a weekly chart, a bunch of strong weekly candles that did nothing. Like that just went up, and then down, went up and then down. Like this could very well do this. and then pops off like when we get like Q2 or sorry, second half of the year.
Yeah.
So I can't get super excited. This is just the first nice weekly candle. A lot of these memes are printing, which is a bullish engulfing candle for everything happened the last couple weeks. But again, over here, there's many instances of that, and it's just can't get too excited. So just keep your.
What I'll say too is like when you zoom out on the chart, it's easy to dunk on the chart. But remember, we don't care so much so about previous price history if current price history is giving good percentage returns, right? If you're looking to make a trade, you don't care so much that like it had previous all-time highs in the past. You do if you're a holder, if you're an investor. But if you're looking for a trade, you don't really care. You care about the percentage gain opportunities, whether you are longing or shorting.
I think that's super important to bring up too, because my commentary in general on things like, oh, this looks nice, I'm saying that in the perspective of Will just said, where I'm looking for more of a short-term trade. If it's a scalp or like, hey, I'll hold it for like a week or so, or looking for a specific entry and a target, then I'm out, versus a, hey, I'm accumulating to hold. Now that's a difference for something like a Pengu, right? Where you would be, in this case, anything down here to me is an absolute, this chart's going to be fine. This is going to be good. Pengu's going to be fine. Or in this case, hey, it looks good, but it looks good to add. Does it still takes time and goes sideways, does this, then does this? Cool, that's fine. But still, it's just anything below 2 cents here, or even better, below a penny and a half, is a good time to accumulate, in my opinion. If this is a project that you support, which I know many of you do, because yeah. By the way, I still have people come to me and share TikToks with me on Pengu. They have no idea it's a crypto project. They have no idea.
I know. Yeah.
Like that's the
single best thing about the Pudgy Penguins brand is most people who interact with it have no idea there's anything about cryptocurrency.
That was the only one. The last one was Banker. That's the only one too. I've been starting to get into Base a little more. Banker is a very attractive project to me with the Banker bot and Deployer. This just seems like they're trying to provide utility that's within the Twitter social verse. It kind of works also on Zora. It's a nice. I like this chart trending down, and this finally looks like it's forming a reversal. And Zora, that one too is attractive. So these base tokens are something that's new to me, but they're ones I'm keeping an eye on. So those are the ones I want to call out.
Yeah, and for people who are holding as well, just remember, like I see a comment here from Matt Preston. You and I totally agree. If Bitcoin isn't able to hold above like really 95, but really 95 to 98K, turn that general zone into support. It's not able to do that and then start to show a little bit of strength and gain a little bit of distance. This altcoin rally is just a rally. It's just a rally. It's not like the market's back or anything. Like, this is an exciting time. It's great to see the market's green, but you do not have to dive in right now. I haven't dived in. Like I'll make a trade for sure if I get a really nice setup that I like, but I'm sitting on my hands. I haven't increased my dollar cost average size. I'm chilling because too many times, this is my third bear market, or is this this is my fourth bear market now. Fourth bear market?
Fourth.
2018, 2021. Yeah, 2020. Yeah. No, this is the third. This is my third bear market. In each bear market, I have seen markets have relief rallies and used to have coins go up about 100% or something, or 80%. And it's like, oh, we're so back. And then all of a sudden it turns around and it goes right back down to those lows. And
if I'm being honest,
everyone be patient. Everyone just be patient. And that emotional pull you might feel to say, I got to dive into whatever meme coin that went flying up. Understand that your emotions are trying to make you lose money.
And the timing of this too, with this time of like, hey, sitting in your hands, and maybe it's a good time to learn. And as right now too, with I don't have to pull the AI card because I have a love-hate relationship with AI, but right now, like with Claude Code and these new ones that are coming out, it's a good time to learn something, because by having that skill set, which you can learn in a short period of time and apply it to whatever, it don't have to be to crypto or trading, but in general, this is a good time to do it because you don't have to worry about FOMOing into crazy gains that are going to come from a meme coin, because we still have so much time. And it's going to be weeks and months, and we're going to give you guidance on when the time's going to come to start carrying again. Right now, we're just we're watching, we're observing, we're paying attention. And there are small opportunities here or there, but it'll come back again. There'll be very green days, and it'll be very easy. But right now, we're not there.
Exactly. And sorry, I was laughing because I got a really, really fucking funny comment that says, who waxes your eyebrows? I don't wax my eyebrows. These are my natural eyebrows. But loose hairs that I have here and here, like little loose ones, I do pluck, and that's it. I was fortunate to be blessed with very good facial hair. I also did have the person did ask me, like, why do you hate WorldCoin? And that does deserve an explanation. And then I'll pull up the Ethereum chart and we'll chart Ethereum a little bit. Because I also haven't looked at Ethereum's chart in like, I don't know, like December 10th or something like that. So I'm curious to see where it's at. Yeah. But I don't like WorldCoin because of how they initially came to market. It makes me not trust them, and that's all I need. So what WorldCoin did, for those who are unaware, they toured the world and they said, hey, let us scan your eye, and as a result, you'll be given free money in the means of WorldCoin. And I hate that. I hate that they are, in my personal opinion, tricking people into giving them the single most personally identifiable biometric piece of data outside of your actual DNA code. Your eye is the single most personally identifiable thing on the human body. Giving that away for free money that most people probably didn't sell at all, and now the WorldCoin is just like in the toilet. So you just like basically tricked people into giving you the most personal data possible on like your body.
For sure.
And I'm just like, for like a shitty altcoin, like it just screamed scam. It screamed something nefarious. It screamed, I don't trust you. I don't like you. I don't know what you're doing with that data. I don't like it. I don't like you. Fuck off. And that's just my personal opinion. They could come out and start really building a whole bunch of stuff, and I would still tell them to fuck off.
The approach, your point, it's like a spot. It's everything. It's the approach. Any company, like if they did it now, let's assume they maybe had some clear. Well, there was a much more willingness to talk about data privacy and how they manage our data and how your data is being used, which we know how that is. But like approaching, hey, this is the purpose of what this retina scan is for. It's for this next phase, which is for some more hardware that's coming out, whatever it may be. And to your point, Will, I would be on the same page. Or like, I could care less. But that approach would be different than where it was at the time, which, what was that? When ChatGPT was probably a year in, maybe? I think when ChatGPT were still early. So it was just like it was just a money grab, and really for them it was data grab. Like, hey, here you go, here's some tokens. Give us your data. That's it.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna pull up also. Who was it? Shaggy Mahal. You've been very patient waiting for the Ethereum chart. I said I would pull it up probably like 25 minutes ago. So now let me pull up Ethereum. So Ethereum right here on the monthly time frame. Let's clean up this chart a little bit. Here's Ethereum on the monthly time frame, going all the way back to essentially November of 2021. If we zoom in here, in the beginning of December, we are trying to reclaim the 12-month exponential moving average. Now, if we pull up our indicators, we see that momentum is bearish, the relative strength index is pretty much neutral, and the stochastic RSI, I don't like that it is not oversold yet. It's not oversold yet. I don't like that. But let's try to see if we can get a look elsewhere. Oh, man. We are starting to actually get a short signal on Ethereum as it's meeting key levels of resistance here. We'll see. This short signal won't be confirmed until the weekly candle closes in basically 6 days. So this still has a good amount of time to work. But that is tough. At the same time, though, on the bullish side of things, the stochastic RSI still has plenty of room to go to the upside. So that's something. But I do really wish it was oversold on the monthly chart, or at least getting close to it. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So let's see here, and let's clean up the chart again. It looks like Ethereum could go up to about $3,350. Whether it corrects a little bit first or not, I'm not quite sure. That's entirely dependent on Bitcoin. But then once it hits this level, I mean, like, I can't really. Oh, hang on a second. What do we have here? We got something. See, does that look right? No, that's wrong. Yeah, unless Ethereum is able to get above this line here, this line of resistance, and then use that as an opportunity to launch upwards, I'm not really bullish on ETH right now. Otherwise, this looks like a strong area of resistance still to then send Ethereum back down. That's what I'm trying
to push up on Bitcoin too. If we got that, it would line perfectly. Like that's.
Yeah, let's see. Let me see if we can get other little bits of data here to analyze. Yeah, what I'm seeing also is this is just like a really big rejection zone for ETH. Let's change the color. Let's make it something a little bit. No, that's the same there. There we go. Because in the past, failed to hold, got rejected, tried to hold, failed, got above, tried to hold, failed, got above, tried to hold, failed. Like this is a very big inflection zone also. And it also happens to be lining up right with all of our key exponentials. It happens to be lining up with that white line of resistance. It happens to be lining up the 12, the 21, and the 55-week exponential moving averages while we're getting a short signal. Honestly, Ethereum right here doesn't look particularly great unless it turns $3,330, let's just say $3,300 into support. Doug, what are you seeing here? Anything different from that?
No, you're spot on. I mean, it's pretty. It's really. As I'm going to a squiggle I drew was pretty accurate here. The only thing I can see is that Bitcoin does continue up to your 97s, like a real big push. I think you get ETH up to $3,600 on a really quick, supply grab. But yeah.
If this ends up correcting further down, this being Ethereum, I mean, the next major area of support is still $2,500. Let me see if we have anything in the longer term time frame, though. Okay, yeah, this is giving us a little bit more. Yeah, 2,300 to 2,500. There should be a lot of support there for Ethereum if, in fact, this still does want to go lower. But that we'd have to see a big break in Bitcoin, though. So that's one of the reasons why I do feel like there is a negative reaction in markets with the Morgan Stanley vote. Like I can just see that there's room to go lower, and I feel like the markets will use the Morgan Stanley vote to get that one more drive down. Let whoever didn't have a chance to buy Bitcoin for years via the ETF products buy more ETF, buy more Bitcoin or whatever, and then get ready to send the markets. What is painting a little bit more of a bullish picture, though, is the CoinGlass Bitcoin liquidity heat map. So let me share that for you, everybody. Liquidation heat map. And let me go to a longer term time frame here. Let me go to something like the 3 month. Let me go to the 6 month, actually. So what I'm about to show everybody is I'm about to show where the major liquidation zones are for Binance, which is the largest centralized cryptocurrency exchange. It's also one of the biggest market manipulators in the world. They will try to dictate the price of Bitcoin to go in the direction that ultimately, makes them the most amount of money. And if we look here, the brightest points on the screen is where Binance makes a lot of money. So as you can see right here, Bitcoin at $90,000 liquidated $264 million of short positions. In fact, it was actually a lot more. You can see that number changing here. But the next big batch of positions that make Binance and market makers the most amount of money is all the way up to basically $98,000 and maybe even as high as like $100,000, right? Then after that, you have some pretty big pockets. You have a big pocket of liquidations here at 110,000, here at 117,000, and all the way here back up at the previous all-time highs. But you also have some very large pockets here down at like $86,000 and $83,000. So from a question of where is the financial incentive in the market that can potentially bring people to or bring the market to based on what folks like Binance want to have happen, how they make the most amount of money, it's pretty messy in this like 83K to 98K range. And Binance still makes plenty of money if they drive the market down lower one more time. And then also just think about like how juicy those targets would be to then just like rip the market back upwards, just to rip it and cause all those billions of dollars of liquidations up to the upside. Like that'd be kind of nuts. But anyway, that liquidation heat map does show us that there is in fact an incentive to still send the market lower, despite there being some big juicy topics, or not topics, but targets higher up. And that's it. And then Mariam Gaffer says, feels like one of those waiting for confirmation. That's exactly where we're at. We're waiting for confirmation to see if the market really wants to switch bullish, if Bitcoin can hold about 98K and start to send us a little bit higher.
Want to jump at some metals? Do some metals.
Do some metals. I would like to do some metals.
Not to jump real
Looking at
quick, but
copper?
I had to, what's that?
Looking at copper.
Yeah, so with these squiggles we drew on the rise up, I forgot about these squiggles. I did not buy copper here. This move has been insane compared to, look, this sell-off. Remember in July when this happened? This grind up has just been
no.
Has just
Wait,
been,
yes, I do.
yeah, this has been insane. This is wild. So right now, by the way, I'm not implying this is a time to buy copper, because it's like this is where you would expect things to happen like this. Although right now we're in a very unique environment where maybe something like this is even better, but super strong. The sleeper here, in my opinion, is nickel.
Wow, goddamn.
Look at nickel on like a monthly chart. Look at this. So just a little guy. This is a little
Just
monthly
a
candle,
little guy.
but it looks so good. Like for me, it's just been something I've been watching. Now, would expect
Also, look at
probably
the gaps on that
the
chart.
gap, at least the gap, right? But then I don't
Yeah.
know. Like this is definitely a chart to pay attention to without a doubt, because silver and gold are still doing their things. They're just absolutely insane. There's some squiggles here on silver. Like I know everyone's waiting or was waiting for silver to come down here in the 60s, mid 60s.
I thought that was happening.
At this continuation, may still pop up. I mean, this is it's a great chart, And then gold is less attractive to me, but still, it's just weird with this sell off, because right now it could be kind of cautious if it did do this, right? But the longer it stays up here, I think the better it's going to be. Still strong. I think this still pushes higher.
Yeah.
That's my
And,
high level view
I mean,
on the commodities here.
On
Yeah.
my chart, when I look at gold is so aggressively overbought on the monthly and the 3-month chart. There's a part of me that it can't continue, but also at the same time, I guess it can continue.
That's right. Like almost like there's no rule. Like it's like, oh, I'm like a hypocrite though. I'm like, oh, there's no rules right now. How do you think markets react or should act? It's not happening. Then I'm like, well, why can't Bitcoin just go to $250,000 right now? I'm like, no, it can't. Well, it can, but I don't think it's going to, because it's like a weird dynamic of these other markets. I haven't had as much experience in, let's say, metals as I have watching a Bitcoin chart for 5 years. Yeah. So it's just seeing how these things play out. It's a good learning experience, to say the least. So
I did get a good question, which was, could we see a wick like what we saw on October 10th? For those of you who are unaware, October 10th is the day where you saw the largest amount of single-day liquidations in crypto history, where you saw most altcoins wick down, some as hard as 80, 90%, and then wicked up another, several hundred percentage points at that. And it was a really weird day. It was caused because of an issue with the order books over on Binance. And I used to know the exact answer of what happened, and I don't exactly remember now. But I do remember that something about their stablecoin fucked up, and it resulted in these mass liquidations across markets because Binance is the biggest player in the space, and something went wrong in their order books, and it caused all these liquidations, and people lost a whole bunch of money, billions and billions and billions of dollars. And then Binance was like, hey, here's $300 million given back to you guys. And everyone's like, cool. Now, we probably won't get another day like October 10th, because what would have fixed that situation would have been if Binance had used Chainlink in order to get the pricing data that would have prevented those mass liquidations. And they were making the switch from their own internal system to Chainlink. It was like 8 days before the 10-10 switch happened, which is one of the reasons why it looks particularly suspicious, because that's the last time you could have ever manipulated the markets like that. Now, today, Binance uses Chainlink in order to get price feeds for their order books and various assets, and I believe their stablecoin as well. So a 10-10 dip in that same instance can't happen, because now Binance is using the correct solution to ensure that what caused their problem, the order books, will not happen. It was really kind of fucked up.
I did have one meme I forgot to share that I want to share with you. It's very important.
Yeah, give me a meme.
It's critical. It's critical.
It's critical. Is it Fartcoin?
You got it. Look at this.
It's always
Look at it. Oh my gosh. I want to like print it out and put it on like a,
Oh, look at this guy.
like, you know, print it out and put it on a frame, you know, like this, like, you know, like I didn't do that, I swear.
Wait,
that
one more time.
There.
Yeah, Fartcoin chart.
Yep. So that's real chart art right there. But this looks beautiful. Like this, I don't even know how to play this, because honestly, I'm like, I want to long this here. Like this is one of those things that we were talking about way back here before it died, like before September last year. This was my Bitcoin dominance. This was my altcoin indicator. This was my guide, especially for Sol and the Sol ecosystem. Fartcoin was usually the leader. So this is now back on my radar. It is still very much alive, and I'm excited to see this. It's nice. Now we're at resistance. There's a very big supply gap here. So like this wouldn't be shocked, but right now I'm enjoying this nice, which seems like, a nice little double bottom, and just seems like it's a clean reversal. So we'll see.
Yeah, and for me, like the trade that I've been looking at making, and honestly, I should look at a few more charts, has been Popcat actually. And
I randomly came across that. I don't even. And but I tweeted that chart. I gotten like more interactions on that tweet than anything the entire last year.
Oh yeah, dude. Because people are talking about
Popcat is very alive, to say the least, without a doubt.
Yeah, let's see. Which is I'm not on the right chart. Let's see. Hang on a second. If we come over to this chart, go to Popcat with Coinbase, go to the daily. Oh, do I not have my lines on this chart? Where are my lines? Give me 1 second, folks, on TikTok. Let me get this done. But get one of those. Give me one of these. Make this one white. Yeah. So, all right. Let me show you what and why and how and who, and I'm interested in Popcat for potential trade. So this is Popcat in the daily time frame, right? This general line of resistance coming down here, and then this general line of resistance from this consolidation zone here. Now, Popcat has already started to show some strength by getting above that line in a pretty meaningful way. It's also really close to giving me a long signal on my daily chart, my daily time frame. So if Popcat, what I would love to personally see happen is to see Popcat just come right down here and turn all of this into support. That's what I would love to see happen. And that is currently sitting at what is essentially just below 1 cent. That's what I would love to see happen. Then trigger a long signal. And if we're looking for, how high Popcat could go at that point, if we look at the daily time frame, you see resistance start to show up at about 14 cents or so. If you go to the weekly chart, you start to see, I hate this laptop so much, my God. You start to see some resistance pop here at 12 cents all the way up to 15 cents, right? So those would be like the key areas I'd like to sell. So I would love to, once again, see Popcat come down and confirm this breakout as support. And if that happens, yeah, I'm thrilled to open up a decently sized trade, set a stop loss. I'll figure out where to set a stop loss. I can't say I have that in mind right now. And then see if it rips. Otherwise, if I lose a couple percentage points on the trade, that's fine. That's totally fine. But I have the opportunity to make like 50 to 70% on that opportunity.
Let me ask you this question. I'm curious. So when markets return, let's fast forward months, whatever it may be, Bitcoin does crazy things. Hey, we're very bullish again across the board. Will you have a part of your portfolio that is a percentage of higher quality, let's say large cap memes? Like, would you outside of Pengu?
Oh, no.
No, so you wouldn't buy it. You wouldn't buy a Popcat down here below 20 cents with the thought of it. Hey, it'll be $3 one day. You wouldn't buy that.
No, I'll treat Popcat as a trade, but I'll never have it in an active like, hey, this is like a swing trade position.
Got it. Okay, fair.
I'll do Pengu because there's a business, there's revenue, there's IP growth, there's all the things that make Pengu what Pengu is. But there's no other meme coin that meets the qualifications for me to have something included in like a 6 month to 18 month long hold position.
Because the reason I asked the question is because this is the first time this next round coming back where it's like when we get bullish again, where I am considering having a small, like, let's say pick 5 a small, let's say it's like a 5% of your portfolio, make the number up, whatever it may be, a little, maybe with the simple bots that are out there now, a little bit of rebalancing bot, just say the balance of those ones. And hey, if you catch 2 out of the 5 of them, you're going to do very, very well. So just trying to think about that for me, just on these bigger ones who've been around multiple cycles that still have the depth or the strength to do things which you don't know yet, right? These could do nothing. Could do nothing. Popcat could just go 25 cents and be dead. But it's just a different. I hate to say that memes in a way are more viable is the wrong word. It's more of a thing in crypto that's not going anywhere. But does it justify having a portion of your portfolio? Up for discussion.
Yeah. Getting a bunch of good questions in here and just general comments. One is, hey, my brother-in-law is an XRP guy and is dancing today. Hey, that's great. Love to see folks dancing. Is the 4-year cycle dead, or are we just in a massive left translated peak right now? I think the 4-year cycle is totally dead and kaput, personally myself. However, you'd be like, but this downwards correction would line up for the 4-year cycle. I suppose it would. Oh, my laptop's energy saver just turned on. Hang on a second. How much time do we have?
20% there. You probably got like.
We got 10 minutes, I think. I personally just think the 4-year cycle is dead. I think honestly, you could probably get like a crypto rally at some point. March has always been what I've been looking at, and I bet it rallies pretty hard into 2028, and then you have like a pretty big bear correction again. I've been holding Dogecoin since 3 cents. What's Dogecoin at, Doug?
I don't even know. I haven't looked at it. That's a great question. Let's see. Doge.
The question is it an outlier? So
15 cents. 15 cents.
15 cents? Yeah, I mean, Dogecoin certainly is an outlier because Dogecoin is one of the meme coins, one of the very few that, blasted off into actual decentralized asset that can't just go to zero.
Yep.
Another question, is it better to hold Pengu in crypto or company stock? So Pengu, Pudgy Penguin, Igloo, which is the parent company, they don't offer stock yet. They will. Oh God, Tars AI any good? Dune Goon, whoever you heard about Tars AI from, block and unfollow them. So Tars AI, long time ago, they were like, hey, we'd like to pay you to make a video. And I was like, I don't really do this, guys. And they're like, we'll pay you this amount. I said, okay, I'm going to say bad things about you. And they said, as long as you say things. And I was like, okay, I'll take your money. So Tars AI. Tars AI is trying to do 2 things, and one of which they abandoned, which was the only good thing about the platform, which was we want to be a place where people who want to build and launch cryptocurrencies on Solana can get vetted and audited, and there'll be less scams released in the Solana space. And that isn't anything new, but it was nice. And I was like, this is the nice thing. However, where they wanted to go with the project was truly god-awful, which was, we're going to be an AI library, and you can get models here, and it was just fucking stupid. And yeah, the only reason why Tars AI had a little bit of volatility to it is because they paid so many influencers to just say amazing things about it that a lot of people found out about Tars AI, and it's had some moments where it did well. But Tars AI is a terrible project. It's a terrible project. Doesn't mean there's not an opportunity to make money off of it though, right? Most projects in all of crypto, their coin might do well and their project can be total shit, okay? So doesn't mean it's not an opportunity to make money with a trade here and there, particularly if they decide to pay a lot of people to talk about them again, right? That's just the crypto space, but there is nothing particularly substantial or meaty to Tars AI as a business, as a solution that it is delivering to the world in any way, shape, or form. Did you say something about Jasmy? Speaking of garbage coins. So Jasmy has a little bit of success in the same way that XRP does, but to a shadow of the degree. Jasmy was a coin that was made a very long time ago, and it was called the Bitcoin of Japan, which if anyone says it's the Bitcoin of something, run.
That was a thing that was said.
The Bitcoin of Japan. I wonder if it might still be on their website. I'm not quite sure. But here's the thing, though, because there was like a lot of potential lines that you could draw with Jasmy, because Jasmy had a lot of people who were working on the project that had connections to Korean businesses and Japanese businesses. And at the time when Jasmy came out, which was I think like 2020 or 2021, that was a really big differentiator, and that was enough to really like make your coin kind of go upwards. And then what happened is the Japanese government started posting a lot and making very public statements about how they really wanted to bring about the adoption of blockchain technology. And then the Jasmy community was like, it's gotta be Jasmy. The Japanese government's gonna choose Jasmy to build off of us because they have all these connections. And then all these conspiracy theories ran with Jasmy. But no news has come out in the past 3 years since those rumors started about anyone working with Jasmy from the Japanese government. And the Jasmy team's not doing anything. So again, though, a cryptocurrency that has a rabid fan base and a lot of crazy batshit conspiracy theories can do very well. Look at XRP. It's one of the strongest brands in all of crypto, built off of just pure conspiracy theories and some easier to draw lines. XRP is better than Jasmy in that sense because it's a little bit closer. There are some actual partnerships with some financial institutions announced years and years and years ago, even though no one's using XRP or Ripple to do a single goddamn thing. But you don't need that to have a coin do well. You just need hype and people talking about you.
Battery check, just on you, by the way.
Yeah, battery check. Let me see here.
Those things always sneak up on you.
They die so much faster.
Yeah, that's what they're like.
Let's just do final thoughts then, because my computer will die. So am I invested in XRP? No. I am a very vocal critic of XRP. However, there are very few coins that are better to trade than XRP. And I know, and Alex knows, and a bunch of people know, some people who make a lot of money just trading Bitcoin and XRP. It's a phenomenal coin to trade. And if you're going to learn trading on any cryptocurrency, my personal opinion, you should start with XRP, personally. Even though I do not believe in the project at all, it is a great coin to trade. But Doug, quick little final thoughts here.
Expect more volatility in the short term. Don't need to get super excited about things. It's nice to have some relief here. If you missed the pump that was from the last 4 or 5 days, cool. I did too. We're doing in real life things. So wait for a pullback, position yourself, and then look for a short-term trade. That's it. And if that doesn't happen and we move directly to your 98s, 100s of the world, which we talked about earlier, that would be the area of caution for me, because everyone is going to be so bullish on the timeline that you're going to be blinded from that. Hey, this is a very, very critical area for a rejection, and need to be aware of that. So just mark that down. And as of right now, just it's a good time to learn. Bring that up again. Good time to learn something, build something.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I would say is just what I've been saying is, don't let your emotions force you to dive into buying local tops again, because a lot of these cryptocurrencies have gone up quite a bit over the past
last season right now,
5 days or so, percentage wise. And if you buy this top, I mean, they could just go down another like 40% or something like that, like down another 30%, and you missed a really good buying opportunity. And, just be patient, wait and see how things shake out, because one good green candle doesn't mean you're at a bottom. A double bottom or a higher low, that confirms to you that there's a bottom. Have some volume come in, see some oversold readings and some indicators, but you want to see a higher low, a double bottom, not just one green candle, right? We are nowhere near a confirmed bottom at all in any way, shape, or form for this cryptocurrency market. So just hang back, study, understand what mistakes you made in the past, build a new strategy for how to move forward, and then start to execute and do your research on what cryptocurrencies you might be wanting to buy. So that's it. With that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in here on TikTok. And for folks on the big screen, I'm sorry for the audio issues. Hopefully I will have my computer fixed soon and can get a proper mic into all of that. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money. See you.